Hey everybody, we're going to talk to you today about some simple steps you can take to repel gnats. They're annoying, you love to be outside in the spring, summer, and fall just like us, but sometimes the gnats will be so bad they'll run you back in the house. Okay, let's get the first simple method out of the way because this is so common, and we only use this bug spray when we go catfishing. We've got other methods we use here around the homestead, and we're going to show you some of those methods today, but you can always go with the simple solution, which is bug spray. And we do that when we spend late nights out catfishing on the lake or river here in central Virginia. We love to go to the James River and catch catfish like this all night, this big, and if they're biting, we'll use the bug spray so we can stay out later. We don't let the gnats run us off. But here around the homestead we have several other methods. We're going to have a campfire tonight, so I'm breaking off some branches from a pine tree that fell this winter in a nor'easter that I cleaned up. The high resin content in the pine needles and the pine cones will help us start our fire easier. So you see me wearing safety glasses. It's not so much to protect my eyes from the pine needles, though it is, but it's to keep the gnats out of my eyes. I've learned over the years that gnats are just an unpleasant part of nature, but if you want to be able to get outside and do the things you love to do, you've got to deal with them, and I do it by wearing safety glasses. I can see them flying around me, but they're not going in my eyes. If you're new to this, you're still going to be doing this for maybe the first week or so, but I've done it so frequently now that it doesn't bother me to see them hovering all around my eyes because I know they're not getting into my eyes. Number two, I always make sure that I have a bottle of water in my back pocket because I think I just swallowed one. You're going to swallow gnats if you're working outside. Have water with you, because if you don't, you're going to panic. It's your body's natural reaction to panic. Your heart rate's going to go up and you're going to take off running to the house, and my house is more than 100 yards away right now. It's not worth it, folks. Well, I needed that. I'll take these. So wear safety glasses. Keep water with you for when you do swallow gnats. And now we're going to show you a couple other methods we use around the homestead to keep the gnats away. Okay, so you can see behind me, we have a beautiful panoramic view of our homestead. We actually sit over there on the side of the fire where my wife's recording this video right now, but for demonstration purposes, I wanted to sit here, and so you can see the view that we see, and you'll understand why we like to sit up here. Now my fire's not going yet, and the gnats are still thick, so I'm going to put these back on for now. But a campfire, the smoke from a campfire, as you know, will repel gnats, and it will repel mosquitoes. You know, you've probably seen in memes or somewhere else online that you can put sage in your fire and it will repel the mosquitoes. I guess that's true, but it's not really necessary. I mean, not only is that sage fodder for the fire, but I think the concept of sage in a fire is kind of fodder for yuppie conversation, so people can talk about how we burn sage in our campfires to keep the gnats away. All right, do it if you want to. It's not necessary, and you can ask any country boy or country girl, and they'll tell you the smoke itself will keep the gnats and the mosquitoes away. Now always remember, smoke does follow beauty, so when we have our campfires, I always make sure to sit right beside my wife, because that's where the smoke goes, because she's beautiful and it's the only way I can protect myself. But campfire smoke is another great way to repel gnats. So let's say you live in town, you're in an apartment complex, and it's not practical to have a campfire, so the smoke idea is not going to work for you, and you don't get to burn your sage. There are other things you can do, and the most simple method, and this does work, and we do this when we have meals here underneath our umbrella table outside looking at a panoramic view of our homestead, which is especially beautiful in fall. It's like sitting in a rainbow and having dinner in a rainbow, but the gnats are still out. Well, all you need to do to keep the gnats away from you is to attract them to something different, and we use vinegar and soap. It's that simple, just a mixture of vinegar and soap. Now, I want to point out to you here, I have various types of soaps and vinegars here. This is just to show you that it doesn't matter what brand you use. You see a lot of videos, they'll say use this brand, use that brand, use that type of soap. I guess maybe it's crap, people. They're getting paid by advertisers, or maybe not, or maybe they heard that this is the only way you can do it. But the fact is, we use whatever soap and vinegar we have available. For example, we're almost out of malt vinegar. My wife loves to eat this with her French fries, so we're almost out. However, we have half a bottle of balsamic Bianco white balsamic vinegar. Okay, so this is what we're going to use because it's what we have. So I'm just dumping. Now here's how this works. Vinegar, as you know, has a very strong odor. It's not a foul odor. I love the smell of vinegar. It attracts the gnats. When the gnats come around, they're not going to be attracted to you so much due to your shampoos, your soaps, your deodorants, which these things do attract them, because the odor of the vinegar it's a more bold odor than these things, these hygiene products you use. You know, a lot of people will say, well, stop using scented shampoo and soap and blah, blah, blah. That's not really practical. We like to share practical ideas with you, okay? This is the body wash I use. And I can put a drop of this in here. I can put Dawn dishwashing detergent in here. When we do travel and we stay at hotels, I mean, I guess we're those types of people that we take the hotel bar soaps. That's where this came from. I think this stuff's from the Shangri-La in Boracay in the Philippines, or maybe when we stayed at the Shangri-La in Cebu, whatever, nice place. The soap was nice, so we took the soap, okay? But here's some Dove. And it's very simple. With your liquid soaps, you just put a few drops in there. Now, if you're gonna use knives, be very careful, okay? Of course, that's a saw. Here's a knife. You can just take your bar soap and just cut off enough that would be equivalent to a few drops from your liquid soap. You put it in there, and that's all you do. That smells good. Now, the way this works, I mentioned that the vinegar, the odor of the vinegar will draw the gnats in. Well, the soap, as it dissolves, it sets like a sticky trap they can't get out of, and they get stuck in the vinegar and they perish. So we'll create this. We'll set it off to the side, over there out of the way, so we can enjoy our meals. And then we just set up here. And here in about 5 or 6 minutes, any gnats that are flying around me will be over there. I'll be able to take these off. I'll go ahead and take them off now. So remember all these ideas when you're trying to deal with the gnat issue, so you can go outside, spring, summer, fall, go outside and enjoy the weather, enjoy the things you love to do. That's what we do. And you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on these big nets you set inside. You don't have to have specific types of products to do it. Just use vinegar and soap. And I wanted to mention too, in parting, I have salt out here because if you do live in town, let's say you're out on your back deck, your patio, you take a little bit of soap, salt, and add to your vinegar and your salt mix, or your vinegar and your soap mix. It now has salt, and you mix that up. You've got a non-toxic weed killer. So if you have a brick or a stone walkway coming up from where you park your car up to your porch, and they've got those nasty little weeds growing out of there, you want to kill them, but you don't want to poison the earth. Every time you're out and making your gnat repellent, I mean, look at this, folks. I have no gnats in front of me right now. Just add a little salt to the mix and then use it to kill weeds. So when you discard of it, dump it where you have weeds on your walkway where you don't want those weeds to be. If you learned something from this video, please consider subscribing to our channel, Homesteading Off the Grid, and make sure to join us for more next time.